Now, I have a question regarding yoga itself, the path of yoga. You're recognized today as one of the foremost philosophers and teachers of yoga, especially in the West. And if you could say a few words about the path of yoga, that would be very helpful.
Yoga, as you know, is a Sanskrit word. It means union with God. Now, there is a great difference between conscious union and unconscious union. Here, millions, billions, and trillions of human beings are on earth. There are again countless human beings are not conscious of their source. Again, there are quite a few who are deeply interested in their source. They want to go back to the source, or they want to have a glimpse of the source. So those who practice yoga consciously will sooner or later go to the source and have a free access to the source. Whenever you do something consciously, we get the result convincingly. But if you do it unconsciously, then we may not get the result, and again, if you get the result, we may not appreciate it. And if we do not appreciate, then we cannot make profit. We cannot get any benefit from any life. So we have to value the spiritual life. And in order to value the spiritual life, we have to be conscious of the spiritual life. I have to be conscious of you first, as a professor. Then I have to value your wisdom, that vast wisdom you have. Then if I value your wisdom, then only I can go back, I can come to your source and know. If I don't value who you are, what you are, how am I going to realize your capacities? So the yoga starts with conscious oneness, with the reality, with the supreme source. And in order to do that, we have to pray, we have to meditate.
If you want to have faith in yourself, first you have to feel what kind of connection or relationship you have established with your inner pilot. If it is the relationship of father and child, or mother and child, or lover and beloved, if it is the relationship of two most intimate, absolutely closest friends, then you can expect everything from God. But if you cannot establish that kind of sweet oneness between yourself and God, then how will you maintain any faith if you think He is very aloof, He is the Lord Supreme, and I am just a meaningless creature? Then there can be no feeling of oneness. If you think of yourself as a tiny ant and God is a huge elephant, naturally you will say, oh, how can I have any strength or capacity? I am so weak and insignificant. If you think of God as someone who is more than eager to give you what He has, then you will feel the strength that God has is all for me. When the time comes, He will offer it to me. When you have established that kind of feeling, when you feel that your Father is going to give you everything that you need, then automatically you will have abiding faith. God the love. There is no such being as God. There is no such being as God the tyrant. There is only one God, and that God is God the love. This God does not punish us. This God is constantly shaping us in His own way. It is He who is the doer. It is He who is the action. And it is He who is the enjoyer, both in the action and in the result. We feel that we are the doers and that if we do something wrong, God will punish us mercilessly. This is not so. It is God's dream that each individual has to manifest here on earth. It is in him. It is in each human being that God's reality lives. If I can always have a childlike confidence, then my Lord Supreme will without fail become my sleeplessly self-sacrificing friend. Because I am a truth seeker, the future flows towards me. Because I am a God lover, I live in the eternal now. The power of love. Love is a pure and radiant flame. When we follow the path of love, we find our spiritual life, our inner life, most fulfilling. Nothing can be greater than love. Love is life, and life itself is spontaneous nectar and delight. If love means possessing someone or something, then that is not real love. That is not pure love. If love means giving and becoming one with everything, with humanity and divinity, then that is real love. Real love is our total oneness with the object loved and with the possessor of love. Who is the possessor of love? God. Whom are you loving? We are loving the Supreme in each individual. We love, when we love the body, we bind ourselves. When we love the soul, we free ourselves. It is the soul in the individual, the Supreme in each human being that we have to love. You can consciously give pure love to others if you feel that you are giving a portion of your life breath when you talk to them or think of them. This life breath you are offering just because you feel that you and the rest of the world are totally and inseparably one. Where there is oneness, it is all pure love. When the power of love replaces the love of power, man will have a new name, God. Prabha Jade জাগাবে আমায় ভুলিতে দিও প্রভু বেদনার তাপে যদি ভুলি যায় মরণের যদি কবু পায় অমর পরশে জাগাবে আমায় ভুলিতে দিও না কবু শরণে মনুরে থাকিও চাহিবার মতো নাহি কিছু জানাব তোমারে ভুলিতে দিও যদি আমি ভুলে যাই জীবন ডাকিও নিমিষ ক্ষমা করো আজ মোরে ওগোস মহান জগতে ত্রাণ যায়ে নশব ভরে জীবন ডাকিও নিমিষ ক্ষমা করো আজ মোরে অবশ্য মহান জগতে ত্রাণ জাগে যে নশব ভরে ফিরে চলো ফিরে চলো ফিরে চলো আপন ঘরে চাওয়া পাওয়ার হিসেবে আনন্দ আনন্দ রে চলো রে চলো রে চলো আপন ঘরে আকাশ ভরা জোছনা ধারা বাতাস বহে মরণ হারা আকাশ ভরা বাতাস বহে মরণ হারা প্রেমের সুরে ভরা প্রেমের সুরে ভরা
How would you characterize the role of a teacher or a guru on this path? Is it possible to surrender to a teacher or surrender to the ultimate through a teacher? Or how does that work?
No. Here there is a great difference between a school teacher and a spiritual master. A school teacher will examine the student and will teach the student, no doubt, but examine. And then if he does well, he will secure good marks. If he does not, then he will fail. But a spiritual master will always play the role of a private tutor. He will teach the student privately and secretly, untiringly, unreservedly. And then he will say, now stand before ignorance sea. Ignorance sea will examine you, taste you, tempt you. You have to be the conqueror of ignorance sea. So here, the spiritual master is a private tutor. He will illumine the student privately through his inner meditation, inner light, and then will say, now my child, go and face ignorance and conquer ignorance. So this is the difference between a school teacher and a spiritual master. And also real spiritual master will tell his students, his disciples, that he is not the master. The real master is God. He is only a representative. As here the president is here, then he has got ambassadors and so many others to represent him in different parts of the world. So here, God, the Absolute Supreme, has these spiritual masters as his representatives for those who are willing to be in their boards. Say, I happen to be a teacher, spiritually. Then, in my boat, he has, out of his infinite bounty, he has given me a boat. And he says that these people are meant for your boat. Then there are other spiritual masters. He will grant them also boats. Then he will say, now you carry your passengers. The passengers that are meant for your boat, you have to carry them, bring them to the destined shore. So, but we are only his messengers. Boatmen you can call, or messenger. You are just carrying the messages from this world to the other world. The messenger, spiritual master is nothing but a messenger boy who is faithfully carrying the messages from both the worlds. Here, when I am with my students, I take their cries, you can call imperfections, their bondages, to my beloved Pilot Supreme, and from him I bring smile, peace, and bliss, and I offer. From here I carry one thing to him, and from him I carry something else to my spiritual children. So I am a messenger boy.
You talked a bit about the characteristics of a teacher. How about the characteristics of a student? What qualities do you look for in your students?
Sincerity is of paramount importance. Then comes determination. Then implicit faith in their spiritual acceptance of life, in their acceptance of spiritual life. If they are not sincere, then it is of no avail. They will not be able to go very far. Sometimes one is sincere, but he does not have the necessary determination to conquer his weaknesses. Suppose an individual commits something wrong repeatedly. He tells you, I've done this, I've done something wrong. But that does not help. He is better than someone who is a liar. But if I say, I have done this, something wrong, I have stolen, but it does not go very well. I have to have the determination not to steal once more. So this is determination comes into the picture. Today I am sincere, tomorrow I have to be fully determined not to commit that Himalayan blunder in my life. Then comes the faith in me that I can be a chosen instrument of my beloved Supreme. Each individual is an instrument, either conscious instrument or unconscious instrument of God. Then the seeker has to feel that he is supremely chosen by the Absolute Supreme to become his instrument, him to please or him to manifest in his own way. So this is what I expect. These are the things I expect from my students. First, the student has to be extremely sincere. Then he has to be fully determined not to commit the same mistake over and over again. Then he has to have implicit faith in his life that his source is the Supreme and he is a chosen, supremely chosen instrument of the Supreme to manifest the Supreme on earth. So these three major qualities, if one has, then I gladly accept him as a student of mine.
Our philosophy is very simple. Not what we say, not what we do, but what we ultimately become. What we ultimately become is of paramount importance. Not what we are doing many things wrong, most deplorable things we are doing. But today is not the ultimate answer. That is called future. Future is blossoming in the presence, in the heart of today. So today's world is full of conflicts, wrong ideas, destructive ideas, reign supreme, destructive thoughts reign supreme. But God has a very special plan. He is infinite in goodness and infinite in greatness, infinite is kindness. It is His creation. He will never allow His creation to be destroyed. A child, when she plays with a doll, if some people, mischievous boys, throw it away, she gets seriously mad because it is her creation. She has all love, all fondness for her doll. Similarly, we are all God's creation. He will not allow His creation to be destroyed. Never, never. But now we are going through for years we have been going through a very dark period. So sometimes we know that night, when the night is the thickest, then the bright dawn appears. So here we feel that right now the world situation is most deplorable. But this is not going to last for good. It is a matter of, I feel as a seeker, God seeker and God lover, I feel that very soon, I'm not saying tomorrow or in a month or a year or two, but in the near future, the world will see the dawn of world history. In the near future, a new light will dawn and it will clear all the clouds that have
thick clouds that have gathered together for years. So not what we are doing, saying now, not what we are doing now, but what we ultimately become. We shall all ultimately become choice instruments of God. Our philosophy is hope, hope, hope. Hope is not kind of mental hallucination, but inside hope looms large promise. And then when we fulfill our promises, then we feel that our inner strength has done it, not the outer strength, weapons, destructive weapons, nuclear weapons, no. It is our heart's inner strength, strength of oneness. Oneness will one day conquer the man-made weapons, destructive weapons. But the strength of the heart, which is oneness, inseparable oneness with the whole world, that strength will definitely conquer the man's made strength. Oneness will be the conqueror of the whole world, oneness, inseparable oneness. And for that we need seekers. This oneness should not be a dictionary word, but it has to be living presence, living reality inside our hearts.
If there were one thing everyone that you're touching today could do tomorrow to help that, what would that be?
Well, yes, we call it the tears of the heart, not the tears of the eyes. The tears of the eyes are fleeting. The tears of the heart, a cry, a most sincere cry for oneness, oneness, oneness. Political leaders always talk about oneness. This talk, division is we see in their actions, it is always division, division. But the same people talk about oneness, and oneness does not come, it will never come, by exercising supremacy. We exercise supremacy. I shall have to be one step ahead of you, then it is oneness. This is called oneness of the present day world. But real oneness is, we shall see it not only stand side by side, but we shall be inside the heart of one another. That is oneness. My feelings, good wills, everything, I shall transfer into your heart, and vice versa. You also will do the same. Then, so oneness of the heart, oneness of the mind, it is a sheer joke. Oneness, when you talk about oneness with your minds, I feel that is nothing but joke. It is always, I shall have to be superior to you. I shall have to, by hook or by crook, I shall have to be superior to you. Then only it is oneness. This kind of oneness is no oneness. You and I should be on the same level, on the same footing, plus inside each other, inside your heart, I must feel the living presence of God's universal oneness, and you will also feel the same. Then only oneness will take birth here on earth, but it will definitely, oneness will blossom here in the soil of Mother Earth.
If you look over history, does that ebb and flow? Has that ebbed and flowed? Is it cyclical? Is the fulfillment of that kind of an effort? Have we seen it before?
Who am I? It is only from a personal experience I can say, inner experience, but I am not an authority on that subject. Only I, from my inner experiences, I feel that before the First World War, or Second World War, even before the First World War, people did know, many countries, they're far off countries there. At that time there was no aeroplane to make the world close. It's a matter of hours. You can go from one end of the world to another. There's nothing. But there, that time, people who were living, they took the world as one. They had tremendous goodwill for the rest of the world. Outwardly they didn't know whether so many countries existed or not. They didn't know the names of like that. But they had a good feeling that we belong to one family, we belong to one God. See, this long before the First World War. But gradually we have lost. Now we are in the talking process. We only talk and talk and talk. So we hope that talking will one day grow into becoming. Now politicians all over the world, they are making the world one by exercising their supremacy. They say it's on. If you remain inferior to me, then you are perfect, I am perfect. But if I, being inferior, want to come up to your level, then you will crush me down. So this is what is happening. So from my own aspiring life, I've been aspiring for years and years. I feel deep within that this world of ours will not forever remain the same, because being a seeker, I know there are many thousands and thousands upon thousands seekers like me on earth who are trying to have a new world of light and not a world of darkness, chaos and darkness. So our prayers, I strongly feel, that will not end in vain. Why? Because the prayer that we do, the aspiring life that you have accepted, I feel it has come from God Himself. We have not created the aspiring life. No, God has inwardly inspired us to accept to pray for the oneness of the world. So this inspiration that we now have, I strongly feel and know that it has come directly from God. And God's will always prevail. Ultimately, God's will not surrender to any man-made, whims or creation. So I have strong faith, very strong, like many countless people have strong faith in God, that God's will one day rule the world, and not like today, that some people who have the power, they are trying to dominate us. No. Now let us say darkness is predominant, but it is not going to be all the time. Then light, illumine, the power of light will definitely illumine the darkness. Darkness tries to devour light, but light never devours. Light only illumines the darkness. See at night how dark it is. Then the day dawns, then darkness disappears. Similarly, the inner light will one day illumine the outer darkness. This outer darkness is the song of division. So this outer darkness will one day be illumined by the inner light. The inner light is coming to the fore, and it's trying to illumine the outer darkness.